Well, it has been absolutely ages since my last video. I have to apologise for that. I've been super busy working for other people and lots of editing as well. But we're finally out fishing again, doing a video for my own channel, and we are carp fishing in Devon. Not somewhere that I've done a lot of fishing, but it's the 2024 YouTube Bloggers Social, and we've come to Creedy Lakes, which is quite near Exeter, down in Devon. This is going to be a two-part video, so this video is all about the session and kind of all the scenery and hopefully any fish that come along. Then I'm going to do another video which is dedicated sort of tips and tactics for fishing Creedy Lakes. So hopefully if you ever come here yourself, gives you a few tips and pointers on how I've approached my session. Hopefully if I'm successful, you can use some of those tactics and have a good session yourself. So if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you get told when that video comes out, the tactics video. One's just shown right in front of me now. I've got into my swim and there's fish in front of me, so all I've done at the moment is chuck 2 single pop-ups out there. I've not put any bait out, just pop-ups where I've seen fish showing. And yeah, there's a fish just shown right over my right-hand rod, so fingers crossed we get an early one and hopefully we'll have a few on this session. I'm right at the far end of the right-hand bank, so when you come from the car park, if you turn right as you get to the lake and walk all the way to the far end, I'm the sort of second to last swim. The one next to me is just a little poke hole really, just in there. But this is sort of like the end sort of proper swim really. And I've got Hugh from the Fishing Bloggers next to me, just there. And then there's Chris Fennell from who's Carp King. You've got Mafty and Carp Bites all along this bank. And then we've got Joe from Carpology, or used to be Carpology, he's left now I believe. We have got the back of the landing net guys and a couple of others. We'll hopefully get a chance to go and speak to all of them whilst we're here, depending on how busy it is. Hopefully we will be busy and catching a few, but yeah, this is my swim. I just thought I'd give you a quick look. It's 2 rods only on this lake, so just got my 2 rods out at the moment, and I've got a nice margin. So if you look from my swim here, over that way is this nice margin here, which I probably will be targeting at some point. There's a little island in that corner, and the fish are getting in around behind that, so the sort of entrances either side of that island will be a good sort of patrol route. But at the moment my rods are just here, and just out in the open water in this sort of area there's been a bit of pluming up, a bit of silt coming up from the bottom. It's quite a shallow lake, and the fish are evidently sort of rooting around and feeding there because it's clouding up. It's quite hard to show you on the camera, but that's why I've just gone in with the singles. Just had another couple of beaks, and yeah, the fish are definitely in the zone, so yeah, going to keep my fingers crossed and hopefully we'll get an early fish to show you. So I've left the singles out there for probably, I don't know, a good hour and a half now, and nothing's happened. And I've had helicopter rigs on from my last session, but I want to fish bags on this session, so I've decided to change over to lead clips, because with a helicopter, if you've got a bag on it, when you cast out, the weight of the bag can actually slide your top bead up and kind of ruin the presentation. So I'm going to quickly swap over to lead clips, and yeah, and then it just gives me slightly better presentation when I'm fishing with a bag. I've still got fish out in front of me here, so I do want to just keep it minimal and just fish a bag on its own rather than putting loads of bait out, and just try and nick a bite really early doors. Leon, 2 swims down, has just had one doing this sort of tactic, you know, just minimal bait, and he's had a little common to start the session off nicely, nice and early. So yes, I'm going to put a lead clip on at least one of my rods. I might leave one of the pop-ups out there, but yeah, while I've been talking to you, I've managed to swap over to a lead clip, because I tend to use a leader with a big loop in the end, so I can actually loop to loop my swivel off the end. so it allows me to just change really quickly to different lead setups when I need to. And then I'm going to fish a little wafter on there rather than the pop-up that I was using, because I'm using a little bag. I don't want it sort of sitting too high above the bait that's in the bag. So a little wafter and a little bit of like broken boilie and pellet, and just underarm that out to where I'm seeing fish, and hopefully nick one before I sort of get the rods set up properly, ready for the night. As you can see, it hasn't stopped raining since I got here really, and actually if anything it's getting worse. But I have been chopping and changing a little bit and just trying different things on different rods. I'll talk more about it in the tactics video, which should be out sometime in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I am trying everything at the moment, just watching the water to see where the fish are showing the most, and then tonight I'll get the rods out properly and have a couple of spots baited so that I can fish over a little bit of bait. The fish seem to be quite active. I think this rain's probably turned them on a bit because it's been quite warm lately, and they're showing, and there's a lot of clouding up happening. It's quite shallow, this lake. It's only probably 3 foot where I am, and I've just seen a big mirror shark in front of me, probably mid to upper 20 I would say, big shoulders on it. So I've just chucked a bag on its head, and another fish showed just afterwards as well. So yeah, they're here. At the moment I'm struggling to get anything to pick up my bait, but I've tried a few different things, and yeah, I'm just going to keep working at it. I can't really do a lot of filming for you because of this this rain, but as soon as it stops raining, oh, a couple of bleeps on the left hand rod. Yeah, as soon as it stops raining I'll try and get out of the bivvy and stretch my legs and talk to you guys a little bit more. Right, we're finally off the mark, and this is a rod that has been out for, yeah, it must have been a good hour and a half or something, and yeah, I've been seeing fish out in front of me pluming up the bottom. Just couldn't seem to get a bite, but it's finally gone, and we're playing our first fish at Creedy Lakes, so happy days. Doesn't look particularly big, but it saves a blank, so I'll take it. Bosh, get in. So I've got one in the net, which you've just seen me land, and now my other rod's gone, so I might have to get Hugh to get a spare net if you've got one, mate. But yeah, I've been waiting for something to happen. Nothing's happened, and then suddenly I've had almost a double take. One's still sulking in the net, really small one, but this feels a little bit better. I wouldn't mind betting it's quite a bit bigger than that first one that I had, so hopefully we'll get this one in, and I'll get them up to show you. So this was a bit of a change of tactic. I found I did have some ground bait with me. It's like the cell activated stick mix stuff. Yeah. So I put that in with some pellets and some boilie crumb. Oh, it's not that big. Mesh bag. Yeah, mesh bag, and I've put some of that smart liquid in it. Yeah. And it's only been out for about 20 minutes. Oh. So maybe the smart liquid's like pulled them down. Yeah. I've never used that smart liquid before, but I just thought if they're not really honing in on my bag, I need something like a bit sort of going to pull them down. All right, there we go, guys. Hopefully you can see that. Come on. As you can see, it's absolutely hammering it down, and I've just landed 2 fish there. One really small one on my right hand rod, which oh actually no, it's my left hand rod, but it swam round to the right, so I landed it on the right hand side of the swim. Only 3 or 4 pound, that one. And then the other rod's gone while I was just thinking about getting that one out, and it's a bit bigger, probably up a double, maybe scrape a 20. So I'm just going to wait for this rain to stop, and I'll get them out to show you, and then we'll get the rods back out, because hopefully there's a chance of a couple more. Now I've found the tactic that seems to be working. I'm just waiting for this rain to stop. It's probably been raining for a good hour and a half now, so I've not been able to get the fish out to show you, but I have managed to get one of the rods back out. So I've just pinged it out there in the rough area where I caught that second fish, and there's been a couple shows since then, but it's definitely quietened down a little bit. I don't know if catching a couple has kind of spooked the fish out of this area. I am in a bit of a corner here, so you know, quite often you find if there's fish in a corner and you catch a couple, they can always move out and not come back for a little while. So yeah, I'm just going to wait for this rain to stop and get the fish out and show you. Then I'm going to try and get some spots sorted properly for tonight and get the rods fishing over some bait rather than just pinging the bags out there. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll wait for this weather to stop. It is easing off slightly, and we'll get the fish out and show you. Right, here's the first fish of the 2 that I just caught. Absolutely tiny. I can't believe I'm even bothering to show you, but yeah, there you go. Probably 3 or 4 pound, but it got me off the mark. So we'll get it back and I'll show you the bigger one. And there's the other one. Again, not massive, but a nice fish. Probably mid-double, something like that. Not going to bother weighing him. Don't want to stress him out anymore. He's been in the net for a little while. He's quite lively, so he's ready to go back. But yeah, happy to have a couple of fish on the first afternoon. So I'm going to get the rods properly sorted now and out for the night over a little bit of bait, and hopefully something a bit bigger is going to come along. Right, I'm just walking around. Got my leading rod here, which is actually my Marco and spod rod, but I'm just going to go around to this far margin and have a little plod around with a lead and see what the bottom's like over there. So I'm going to get a couple of rods out tonight over a bit of bait, and then daytime tomorrow I can just fish the bags again where I'm seeing the fish show. You can see here there's another sort of lake where it's dammed off, and then it comes in to the lake down here. I don't know how well you can see that, but hopefully you could hear it. So there's a lot of water coming in there, which is a really good thing at this time of year. It's oxygenating the water and it's stirring it up as well. So the carp are going to be attracted to that. With the warmer temperatures, the oxygen level in the lake is a bit lower, so anywhere that you've got extra oxygen coming into the lake is going to be really attractive to the carp. Plus the bottom's getting stirred up, so any natural food is getting washed into the water column, and the carp know that, so they're going to be coming in and looking for that food as well. So I've seen quite a few fish show over here during the day today, so I'm going to get the rods out in this area tonight. Just got this little cut through here, and there's this overhanging tree just there, and just out here I've seen quite a few fish show. Yes, I'm just going to have a little lead around in this area, maybe put a rod here tonight if the bottom seems decent, although it does look quite shallow and there's a few ducks around. I don't really want to be catching a duck in the middle of the night, but we'll see. Yeah, it's really shallow there. So I'm glad I came round, because I think that area is probably too shallow to fish. God, the lead feels warm, so the water must be fairly warm. Now this is a swim here, but we've decided on this match, because we've got the lake to ourselves, to close off this swim so I can fish in front of this swim from where I am over there. My swim's just there, and I've seen quite a few fish show in front of here today, so I'm going to lead around here, try a couple of other spots, and then get back round and put some rods out. Right, so the light is going, as you can probably see, so it's definitely time to get the rods out properly over a bit of bait on that far margin there where I've been seeing fish showing today, and hopefully in the night or in the morning we might have one of the better fish. Hugh to my left's just had a 28 pounder. I've just done some photos for him, absolutely gorgeous, common. So they are in here, so I'm just putting out a little mixture of bait just to get them grubbing around and hopefully picking up my hook bait. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking now, get the rods out, and then I'll update you just before it gets dark, and it's going to be beer o'clock then, isn't it, because it is a social after all. So I'm using bat leads on this session. Well, I wasn't earlier, but I am now, because it's very shallow, this lake, and obviously them lines cutting through the water are going to be in the way of the fish as they're swimming through, but also because it's shallow as well, when I'm playing fish, if I'm lucky enough to catch one, I don't really want my line in the way, especially in the middle of the night, wiping out my other rods. So bat lead just helps you keep everything down out the way from the fish, but also from whilst you're playing a fish if you catch one. So yeah, shallow water bat leads are really handy, especially if it's not weedy or anything. I don't think it's too weedy in here, although there is a little bit of silkweed. It's a beautiful evening and the rods are out. So everything is right in the world. Gonna have a couple of ciders with Hugh next door, and hopefully we'll have something to show for our efforts through the night or in the morning. Here's the one that I had about 4:30 this morning. It's just been sat in the net for a little while I was waiting for the rain to stop and it to get light enough. But yeah, it's fish number 3 off a new spot over to the far margin over there. And yeah, only a small one again, about 15 pounds, something like that. But yeah, there are some bigger ones in here, so I'm going to keep plugging away and hopefully one of the bigger ones will come along, and I'll be sure to show you when it does. Right, so it's all been quiet since that fish I had about 4:30 this morning, and now the sun's come out, it's finally stopped raining, and all the fish are just sat in front of me, just cruising around on the top. Now, I think because of the water inlet that's to my right here comes over the dam there and into the lake, there's a lot of oxygenated water coming in, and the fish are kind of coming, they're drawn to that. The water's getting stirred up and all the sort of natural food in the lake's getting kind of washed around, and the oxygen is obviously good for the fish as well. Quite heavily stocked, this lake, so they do need that oxygen, especially in the warmer months, because there's less dissolved oxygen in the water anyway when the water's warmer. So they've all come into this corner, but they're not really feeding. I've got a rod out roughly where they are, and I've not had a bite. I've not had a liner either, which tells me that the fish aren't down on the bottom at the moment. So I'm going to try something which I've not done before, but I was chatting to someone earlier this year about it, and quite a good tactic for when the fish are up in the water and not really feeding. And what I'm going to use is scalded pellets. So in here, I've got some mainline cell pellets, which I've covered in hot water, and then I've put a lid on so they can like get nice and sweaty in there. And then I've just used a twig to kind of bash it up into a bit of a paste really. So each pellet is coated in this sort of like mashed up pellet kind of pasty stuff. And there's still a few kind of lumps and whole bits in there. But the idea is that you're releasing all the traction from the pellet. It's not like solid and it's not going to like take ages to break down. It's already partially broken down. So all that attraction will instantly go into the water. When I drop it from the boat, you're going to get that little column of attraction in the water, and then there's a bit of a current coming out from where the water's coming in that's going to wash along and hopefully attract the fish on that smell, and they'll come up the current to kind of find out what it's all about. So that's the idea. I'm going to wind in one of my rods now. I'm going to put out some of this in the boat with a rig, little wafter hook bait with a little bag of pellets on it just to make sure it's presented properly, and hopefully I can draw one of these fish to drop down and have a feed. If this works, I will be very impressed, but watch this space. Right, so that's that rod out then. And hopefully you saw there when I was putting it out, it actually spooked a couple of fish on its way. There's so many stacked out there, it was unavoidable really. I couldn't sort of find a clear spot to put it in amongst the fish, so I just kind of had to spook a couple and get it out there and hope that they didn't spook too much. And there is still plenty of fish out there, so yeah, that's that rod out, and hopefully that little change of tactics there has just given me that extra chance of a fish. There's so many fish out there. I can't believe that none of them will drop down on that. Got a nice bit of oil coming up off them pellets. And just a little semi-buoyant hook bait in amongst it. It's a little pink link wafter, a mainline link wafter. And yeah, they've got to have a feed. Right, as you can see, we're into a fish finally in this bright sunshine. Fish have just been up on the top really. I was thinking about borrowing some floater gear. I've not actually brought mine, but we're all friends here, so Hugh next door said I could borrow his, but I thought I'd stick it out, and it's actually paid off. And I've got another one, only a small one, but yeah. Nice to catch in the sunshine for a change after all that rain yesterday. And it's the first mirror of the session. They've all been commons up to now, so that makes a nice change as well. Right, there it is, my first mirror of the session, a nice little fully. I'm not going to weigh it. What are you going to give me for that one? Answers in the comments if you can guess the weight. I'm going to put it around, I don't know, £13, but you might be able to guess better than me. But yeah, it doesn't really matter, does it? They're stunning fish to catch. Nice bit of action on this session. I just need one of those big ones to turn up now. Right, they're getting bigger, guys. Here it is, fish number 5. I haven't weighed it yet, but I'm thinking that is getting on for £20. That's a beautiful, long common, really nice looking fish. Good condition. And it was caught on that new tactic with the scalded pellets that I was talking about, so that has paid off. Just fished in an area where all those fish had sort of grouped up, and finally one dropped down and took the bait. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing with that. It's nice to get a slightly better one after a run of small fish. So yeah, 5 fish now. I better get the rod back out and hopefully I can have a couple more in the daylight, and maybe if I'm lucky, one of the bigger ones. They do go up to 37 pound in here, so yeah, fingers crossed. Good timing. I'll see you later. Woohoo! Happy with that. Right, this is fish number 6 now, and that little change of tactics with those pellets has really really paid off. I've managed to have 3 fish on that tactic now, so yeah, just shows you a little change of tactics when you're not catching. If you think you should be catching, it can really make all the difference. Probably about a mid-double, this one. Really beautiful scaly. Second mirror that I've had that's looked like this. They're absolutely gorgeous. Just imagine that at sort of 30 pound plus. It'd be a real prize to catch, but still nice when they're like this. And yeah, make sure you go check out that tactics video that's going to be after this one, because I will be going into more depth on the rig and hook bait and my bait presentation essentially. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so you don't miss that video. But yeah, we'll get this one back. We've got the social tonight, so we're getting a takeaway, a few beers and stuff, and hopefully a few more of these will come along as well. Right, we're coming into the second evening now, and as you'll see down there, I've not got any rods in at the moment. I'm just redoing everything for the night and getting all sorted, and we've got a bit of a social happening. I don't know if you can see down there, everyone's kind of congregated. Going to watch the football tonight and have a few beers and get a takeaway, so that should be really nice as well. And thankfully it's not far from my swim, so I should be able to leave the rods out. I think everyone else is kind of wound in and come round, but me and Hugh are going to leave our rods out because we're the closest to where everyone's sitting, so happy days with that. So yeah, it's been a really good session so far. We've had really changeable weather, lots of rain and then sunshine in between, and I think it's kind of made the fish sort of a little bit on edge. Although I've had loads of fish in front of me, I've only managed to nick a few here and there. For the amount of fish that are out there, I should have been having more, but I think they were just kind of sat on the surface today and not really feeding. But hopefully tonight, if I get a little bit of bait out there on a couple of spots, I might be able to nick a couple more before I've got to go tomorrow. So yeah, let's get the rods out and then go catch up with the guys and have a little bit of a social. Well, good morning. I just thought I'd update you where we're up to now. So it is the final morning of the 2024 YouTube Bloggers match, and we had a really nice social last night. We watched the football. England won on penalties, get in. So yeah, that was nice. We had a pizza, a few beers and stuff. Just swim next door, so managed to leave my rods out, but nothing happened actually during the evening. And then through the night, about 1 o'clock in the morning, I did catch another one, about 15 pound, a little common. So I didn't bother getting it out and like showing it to you guys, because you know you don't want to keep seeing all these little doubles that I'm having. But I just filmed it in the net and let it go. And then I was absolutely knackered, so I didn't rechuck that rod. I just left the one rod fishing, and surprise, surprise, nothing happened after that. But yeah, this morning I have just redone the rods. You see down here, got the 2 rods fishing again, and I've just gone out on the bags again, just out in this open water area. A couple of fish have shown, and I've just chucked bags out there. So yeah, we've only got really 3 or 4 hours left of the match, although we do have the lake until 8 PM tonight, so I may well stay on a little bit after the match is finished. I think we're going to do the sort of prize giving at about 9:30 or something like that, but then yeah, I'll probably stick around till after lunchtime certainly, and hopefully get another fish before we have to go. I'd love to have another 20 pounder just to round off the session nicely. Hugh to my left managed another 3 fish I think last night, so he was struggling. He'd only had the 1, and then it came alive, his swim last night, and I think he didn't get much sleep. He was up, you know, playing fish and landing them and filming them through the night, so fair play to him. And so far he has had the biggest fish as well. The first one he caught was 28 pounds, so it's looking like he might win the match. and me and him are a team on this session, so we may be the match winning team as well, which would be nice. But obviously he'll get to take the trophy home because he had the actual biggest fish. But yeah, I'm on 7 fish now, which isn't bad for a 48-hour session. Right, so I'm about half packed up now. Yeah, things are starting to look a bit more tidy. And I'm happy to say that I've had 7 fish, so really good session in 48 hours. And the match is over now, and Hugh next door won it with a 28-pounder, which was actually his first fish. And we said all along that it was going to be hard to beat that, and that proved to be true. He did have a couple more after that, but yeah, nothing bigger than that. And what a nice place it's been. Creedy Lakes in Devon, if you're ever looking for somewhere to fish. It's got a good stamp of fish in here, you know, really well stocked, but a good average size as well. There's been lots of 20s caught. I think Jay over the far side's had 5 20s, and there's been a few kind of mid to upper 20s caught as well. So yeah, what a nice place. Hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. If you have, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. You fished here before, like any tips for anyone who might be watching this video. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the dedicated tips and tactics video for fishing Creedy Lakes in Devon.